PM. And that is that. That order was $20 an hour. It happens. This is a nice house. All right, here, very classy. Very, very classy. Really nice. Nice yard, nice trees. Be nice to have something like this. But it's not a curved driveway. So if you got a good camera on the rear of the vehicle, I don't know if I'm gonna get there right here. I'm kind of doing like 3 things at one time. Filming, looking at the camera, and driving, as in both cameras, the rear camera and the phone camera. All right, here we go. All right, we are headed to Circle K to get your convenience store goodies, whether it be cigarettes, beer, wine, menthol packets, vape things, I don't know, whatever it is, okay? I'll look at it later. But it's gonna be 2.9 miles. 10 minutes. We'll be there at 8:44 in the PM for the arrival time. So sit back and relax. Take out your phones. Find out what you want to order. Be Grubhub, Postmates, DoorDash. If you want to use Uber Eats, or you can use the Runner app. And do me a favor. Open that thing up and try it out. We'll be there with a bow tie. Well, they use bow tie t-shirts. You got to order them online, but they used to give them to you. They used to give them to you with the job as part of the package deal. But you know, I never thought about wearing a bow tie. You know, maybe I'll get a bow tie. Maybe that'll be a new character-y thing for me. Cole with the bow tie. I'll see. I'll go to a thrift store and maybe pick up a bow tie. We'll do that later. I got the haircut though.
Spicy, cheesy goodness. Sear into that scorching sensation. Time to get fired up.
So I had a bowl of beans, I guess maybe this morning, and then I had the Central Market salad, which I was thinking about 800 calories with a bowl of beans, brings it to about 1,000 calories. And these, probably about 200. It's Volpe. The type of it is Roll-Tini. It's a mozzarella spice cooked salami. And don't know if they put the calorie count on this side. That's the brand. And yeah, they do put something on here. $140 calories. So we're gonna add 140 to this one right here. This is 140. I'm gonna tell a story today. I woke up early before I practiced my song. I'm recording a song tomorrow at Guitar Center. I have to rent this soundproof room. I got up and for some weird reason I started reading. And I came across the bio on Sarah Jessica Parker on Wikipedia, which I thought was interesting. Her career is interesting. I saw her live when she was interviewed by James Lipton. Always kind of stuck out. The interview was interesting. She's a special one, meaning she's an interesting actor. Now, she started off her career eventually landing a Henry James story. Now, this was turned into a play. It was called Turn of the Screw, but it was turned into a play called The Innocents by Archibald. Turn of the Screw was done by Henry James. It's a story, and I'm reading it right now. I'm gonna read the whole thing. He has a great voice. Now, that's a ghost story. It's a gothic ghost story, and it's interesting because when I opened up the page and I started to look for Henry James and I started doing the research, I saw something from the room in my room go, something like a dark figure with a hat go across the room. Supposedly our place is haunted. Now I looked at Kitty because Edmund was there and he was looking around too. True story. I'll have to tell you this, I'm not the biggest ghost story believer. Linda and I did do some ghost story paranormal, I guess, vlog. Only one on Alicia Wilhite Brooke, who fell from the 3rd floor of the mansions of Sunset Ridge. She was a UNT student that came to, well, Dallas area. She worked in Irving. Then she eventually lived at the mansions at Sunset Ridge, and she fell from the 3rd floor by the pool and died on impact when she fell. She died when she hit the ground. The guy that was with her fell, they just say the companion. They may have mentioned the guy's name. He went into critical condition, so they were able to save him, the companion. But she was on the 3rd floor of one of those buildings. And Linda and I did do research. We did a ghost story research stuff. Check it out. It's pretty interesting. We had some weird experiences. Linda did speak in tongues when we lived there. She would go into speaking in tongues. And we thought about doing a whole ghost story. Now, I wrote The Filmmakers. It's a screenplay. I've written many screenplays and plays. And The Filmmakers is ultimately a ghost story. Herbie Keller, Rainy Love, I believe, and the ghost that visits them. It was going to be played by Daniel Lunt. It's a 3-person screenplay. It's a 3-person movie. He comes to reveal himself to the writer, Herbie Keller, and he's also trying to be a filmmaker at the time. He comes to reveal himself and tells Herbie Keller that he is a ghost. he had died by falling off the balcony. And it shows him his write-up in the paper, in the obituaries, in an article. There actually was an article written about the accidental death of him falling off the balcony. But it's kind of a comedy. Rainy Love, of course, is kind of a, free-spirited, crazy lady. And Irby Keller is a filmmaker type, screenplay writer kind of guy. He's writing something at the beginning that's similar to Reprisal. It was based on Reprisal, the very beginning part of what he's writing. And Linda and I did do a slight reading of it, and it is on my channel. Now, it did get it got some attention, because when we did the first upload of the filmmakers, which was Beach Ball Hurricane Scene, it got a lot of attention. That's why it says the filmmakers, because it's based upon a script. That was an improv scene that we did together as Irby Keller and I believe Rainy Love. I think that's her character. I got to go back and look at that screenplay. It's actually a tight little piece. It's not anything complex. It's a nice little piece. The reason why I want to go back is Daniel Lunt's character has a name. That's the reason why. He's the ghost in it. But Daniel Lunt is the actor that I had that was going to read for that and be a part of it when we originally met up to do The Projectionist, which was another story that Daniel and I collaborated on. I mostly wrote it. I did all the writing on it, but Daniel helped with some of the story, and we're both on the title of The Projectionist, which is another whole story. But The Filmmakers was the second script that I was working on in that place, which is the Mansions at Sunset Ridge, apartment 14202, building 14. And that's in Carrollton, Texas. So the ghost story took place there, in that apartment, in that building. There she goes. That's Wilcox. She comes around and does this. She'll move the camera around and things like that. But that's Wilcox kind of haunting. Is her full name? Amber Brooks, or Amber Wilcox Brooks, or something like that. Or did I say her name was different? She covers her name. I know her name is Brooks for sure. I know that there's Wilhite Brooks. And then if you don't get it right that time, then you're lost. But I know it's Wilhite and I know it's Brooks. And I did say it earlier. Okay. It might be that one. Trying to think. And there's no address or anything. I don't know why they do this to people. Nothing. Nothing at the top. Nothing on the side. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, it's an ID check, too. Well, you can smell it, though, let me tell you. Oh, man. And it goes through 09. What the heck is that? Hello? No. Nothing there. I don't know if it's abandoned or not. I'm assuming this is probably it, though, but I'll have to verify it. Ends in a 7. So we'll verify it by asking neighbors and stuff. Nothing on the side or anything. guys know where 07 is? It's going to end in 07. Probably this one. 07. Oh, I don't know the name on it. I'll look it up in a minute. It's probably these guys. I'm just looking to see if any of them have address numbers.
Yeah, this is 09. That's 07.
It would have to be. They'd probably know. Well,
She works night.
yeah. Hello? Are you 07? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all I need is the birth date. All right. I left it in the potted plant. I said, the potted plant is right here. So, her dog looks frustrated. When I was jogging today, or hiking, when I was hiking today, which there was some jogging, I was just jogging along, you know. This wild Great Dane looking dog comes running straight at me. All of a sudden the owner goes, "Come here, boy!" And the dog stops with his mouth and jaw open, about to clamp down. We were about to go to town. I was about to get the guy's house, property, and everything. And then the dog turned around. White settlement. True story. It's a mean dog. And I've been bit before. Clothes and shoes, recycle. All right, we got a McDonald's. We're gonna go to the McDonald's to pick up the food. So it'll be 5.5 miles. It'll be an 11-minute trip. We'll arrive there at 10:03 in the PM, as in post meridian, 10 o'clock. Well, 10:03. Well, look at that, there's his house. Don't they say 10 o'clock, o'clock, but it's 10 o'clock 3. Oh, maybe make that a 4. 10:04 p.m. in the post meridian. And good luck to Adam and Tampa J, even though I called him Lucifer, but I was joking around. Hey, they have a show called Lucifer. You know, I don't know why I said it, but he was making fun of David Koresh. But regardless, that was a while back. They are in New York, so I ask everyone to pray for them, because New York isn't safe. Woo! Those encrypted digits come in there, and they stay in there for a while. But New York is not the safest place in the world. My friend Angela Gant was nearly beat to death in Spanish Harlem because there was an argument over dog poop. True story. It happened in Spanish Harlem. People have been pushed into the subway, killed on impact. People have been just outright beat to death in the streets of New York. Now, after 9/11, September 1st, there's a homie. After 9/11, September 1st, sorry, let me go back on dates, sorry. When people are trying to kill one another, it kind of makes me think. After 9/11 of 2001, now the English majors are happy. After September 11th, 2001, there was an issue that happened with people in convenience stores. It was a big deal. It was like a very, very big deal. And they were pulled out of the convenience stores and murdered on the streets of New York City because of their nation and because people were scared. It was a big, big, big deal. Okay? They had to calm down on that after a while. That's a silent story, meaning it's a silent story. It's a story that's not told very often. And now it has been told, but it never made national news. Not in any circumstance that they got him. I don't know for sure. I don't think it was the same car. But regardless, no, because they U-turned. It was a big deal. So September 11th happened, which was 9/11th of September. Okay, we're gonna get the dates down so everybody is appeased, because there's a lot of judges out there. September 11th of 2001 AD is when there was terrorism that happened. After that terrorism, there were Middle Eastern people. We'll say people from Iraq, people from Afghan, all those types of people were pulled out of the convenience store and beat to death on the street because they blamed them at that moment for the terrorism. And no one's covered the story on it. No one's talked about it in detail, but it actually really happened. They killed people in New York City just because of what nation they believed they represented. They pulled them out of the convenience stores and beat them to death. I want to do a movie on it or a documentary to talk about the serious crimes against humanity. Because there are crimes against humanity. Those are corrupt cops that are pulling those people over right there. They're corrupt, going to prison. That's where it's happening right here. It happened on 9/57. And it is May 14th, 2023. And you see where it basically happened in this area. Okay, now, terrorism can come in any fashion. It can come from authority figures, okay? It does not have to come from terrorism. Terrorism can happen in any occupation. Just because you're a cop does not mean you cannot terrorize another person and go to prison for it. Many cops this year have gone to prison for terrorizing other people, for being what's known as a terrorist. Many have. Holtzclaw got 266 years in prison. He was Japanese. His father was a Japanese, high-up militant kind of person in the police force, so like a sergeant or something like that. And his son, who is Holtzclaw, is going to die in prison. He raped probably 20 women or more. 9 of them went forward, and he was orally sodomizing women in the back of his police car, pretty much like at gunpoint. Okay, it's like Ted Bundy evil, and that was a police officer of the law. And it's happened hundreds of times across our nation. Throughout the years, probably thousands upon thousands of times of officers that have done it, that have got away with it. Look how fast this guy's going. That's about the average speed a cop goes when they pass you. And then usually they may have lights, but a lot of times they don't even need to use those lights, because then they'll shut them off usually. If you ever watch them, they break the law every single day. You get it? And that makes them corrupt. They break the law every single day. When they wake up in the morning, they break the law. When their feet hits the ground, they break the law. A police officer does. So when they wake up and their feet touches the ground, they're breaking the law. If they continue to wear that badge and sidearm. All right? We'll be there in just a minute. Pick up your McDonald's and drop it off at your doorstep. And we green lighted the project. The light is green. Basically, it's like this. When a police officer wakes up in the morning and their feet touch the ground, they're breaking the law. True story. All right. We've made it to the TCU McDonald's. We're going to wait here for quite a bit of time. Pick up your food order and drop your McDonald's at your doorstep. Hi, this is Be Masknificent. And this is the Masked Singer. An all-new season. The god for my mother-in-law is McDonald's. All right, we are at McDonald's, and we're gonna go 1.3 miles. This is gonna be a drop-off, 5 minutes. We will be arriving at 10:32 p.m. in the post Meridium. Currently riding Skinny Pete and friends. They're on a tramway going up the mountain in Albuquerque towards a restaurant called 10-3. It's a restaurant. Kim Wexler is in the tram with Skinny Pete and Badger. They get off, they go into the restaurant, they walk in. Skinny Pete and Badger go to the restroom. Kim Wexler approaches James McGill. Jimmy McGill is sitting alone in the back area of the restaurant by a large window overlooking Albuquerque, and he stares out the window. There won't be a restroom scene, but there'll be a waitress. A waitress will enter, and she'll ask to take their drink order. We hear her voice for a moment on the tramway off screen. I did that because it's a J cut. Okay? If they want, I put it in the script. So I heard a J cut. You know what a J cut is? If you are in film, it means you hear the noise before you get to the next scene. So you hear the sound before you arrive into the next scene. That happens on the tramway. Okay? Just something I put in there. They get in the restaurant. They ask the waitress. It comes in later. Kim Wexler sits down. She says, Jimmy, it's been a long time. They talk about prison being rough. Jimmy talks about how he got out. They talk about good behavior. Then the waitress walks up. She asks Jimmy, Slippin' Jimmy, James McGill, James Morgan, Jimmy McGill, what would you like to drink? And he looks up and he says, Sprite. A single tear falls from his eye because he has not had a soda in a very long time. And he just wants a Sprite. He doesn't want anything hard to drink or anything. James McGill in this moment is on very good behavior because he's right out of prison. So he acts very innocently, very good, kind of quiet. Kim Wexler is in awe of him because he's been through a whole lot in prison. We don't know what that is. That's what we learn throughout the story of Skinny Pete and friends. But we also learn about Skinny Pete and Badger. It's the big characters in it are Skinny Pete, Badger, James McGill, and I listen, I know you guys can't hear me completely. But in Skinny Pete and Friends, the main character is Skinny Pete and Badger. Kim Wexler and Jimmy are minor characters. They're not the main characters in this one. It's Skinny Pete and Badger. But we were introduced to the major characters in the beginning of the whole series, which I'm writing the pilot for the teleplay. And I will continue this. So I've been working on the note cards. I got the images on the note cards. I saw the tramway. I saw the mountains. I see the Sprite. I see James McGill sitting there alone. I see the tear go down his face. I see Kim Wexler talking to him, and they're talking about prison. I hear the dialogue. And then, of course, Skinny Pete and Badger will later emerge from that restroom to join the conversation at the table, which will be the next note card. So we're going to stay in 10-3 restaurant on top of the Albuquerque mountain, okay, to talk a little bit more with them. Then we'll learn and listen about Skinny Pete and Badger's successful business and how they had to do CBD, and now how they're going into YouTube, okay? Because Badger came kind of with the idea. Skinny Pete's helped developing it, and they're like YouTube. They become like YouTube stars, okay? So that's going to be how they make a living in Skinny Pete and Friends. It's a YouTube kind of thing that they succeed in. It's going to flash the numbers. We're going to look at the last number is a 7, just like the other one. And we found it. This is probably in the same area when Linda cut her thumb at Subway in Benbrook. I was in this area on this very road. If you watch that vlog, I was in this very area. See this right here? No. But I was trying to tuck everything in and get it. There we go. Now we're in the room. You don't want to put that little thing there because it shakes the drinks. You want their McDonald's fresh. Well, we want to give it to them fresh.